Hey guys, welcome to the 74th C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at converting integral and floating point data types into strings. So let's just say right here that we have an integer variable. Called mynum, and we'll set it equal to 53. Now let's just say that we want to convert this integer variable into a string. Well, we can go ahead and use a function called I2A to do that. And this function just stands for integer to alphabet, or integer to ASCII. But basically what this function is going to do is just convert an integer into a string. And this function takes three parameters. The first parameter is just going to be the integer that we want to convert into a string. So we're just going to say mynum. And then the second parameter is just the address of the memory where we'll store the converted string. So we're going to go ahead right here and just allocate 10 bytes of memory. I'll just call it str. And set it equal to 0. So all the bytes in this character array are now 0. And then we're just going to store the converted string at this memory. So str. And then the final parameter is just going to be the number base. So the base that we're going to be converting to. And I'm just going to go ahead and convert it into base 10, which is decimal, which is the number system that we use every day. But if you wanted to convert it into hexadecimal, you could put a 16 right here. If you wanted to make it octal, you could put an 8, or a binary would be a 2. And we'll go ahead and look at those in a little bit. Alright, so basically what this function is going to do right here is it's just going to take this number, this integer variable called mynum, and it's going to convert it into a string. And then it's going to store that string at this memory, or in this memory right here. So if we want to view the converted string, we're going to have to go ahead and print this string str out onto the screen. So we're going to say printf mod s and end the line since it's a string. And then we're just going to go ahead and print out str onto our screen. So when we run this, we should just get 53 onto our screen since that's the value of mynum. So we run this and we get 53. Perfect. And let's just mess with the base here a little bit. So let's go ahead and make the base 16, and we'll convert it into a hexadecimal number. So we run this and we get 35. So 35 in hex corresponds to 53 in decimal. And if we wanted to convert it into octal, we just make this an 8. Or if we wanted to convert it into binary, we could just go ahead and make this a 2. So if we make this a 2 right here and run this, we just get the binary representation of 53. Now, let's just say that this was a long up here, so we'll change this to a long. And in order to convert a long into a string, we just have to use the function called L2A, which stands for long to ASCII, or long to alphabet. So we run this and we should get the exact same output since we didn't change the value of mynum, and we do. And if mynum was a long, then we'd have to use a function called LL2A, which obviously just stands for long to alphabet, or long to ASCII. Alright, and if we run this again, we should get the same output because we didn't change the value of mynum, and we do. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at another function called sprintf. And sprintf is very similar to printf and fprintf, except when it formats the string, it doesn't output it anywhere. It doesn't put it to the file or to the console. It just puts it into a string. So we're going to go ahead and allocate some memory to store that formatted string in, and I'll just call that str for formatted string, and we'll just allocate 30 bytes of memory and initialize all those bytes to 0. Okay, so now we're actually going to go ahead and use sprintf. So sprintf, just like that. The first parameter of sprintf is just the address of the memory where you'll store the formatted string. And we're going to be storing the formatted string in this memory right here, so we'll just say fstr. And then the second parameter is just going to be the format. So we'll just say that we want to convert an integer, a float, so 0.2f, so that there's only 2 digits after the decimal place. And then we'll also just put a character, mod c. So the integer, we'll just make it 67. The second parameter is just going to be some float, so we'll say 89.45. And then the third parameter just has to be a character, so we'll say a lowercase r. So basically what this is going to do right here is it's just going to replace the mod I with 67, replace this mod 0.2f with 89.45, and it's going to replace this mod c with an r. And then it's going to store that formatted string in this memory right here. So if we actually want to view this formatted string, we have to go ahead and print this string out. When we call sprintf, it's not going to put it on the console or in a file, it's going to put it in this string. So in order to actually view the string, we have to go ahead and print it out. So we'll say printf mod s, since we're printing out a string, and we're just going to go ahead and print out fstr. So when we run this, we should just get 67, 89.45, and then r. Yep, perfect. Alright, so anytime that you want to convert a float into a string, you're actually going to have to use sprintf, since there is no function called f2a. So just keep that in mind whenever you're converting between data types. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial on converting between integral and floating point data types to a string. In the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at converting a string into a float or into an int or something like that. Alright, so see you guys.